trying to get back into production here. So, a little something that came up while I was on live stream at TARDIS Zone. Little bombshell dropped by the one of the I don't know what they're one of the producers of Cobra Kai. They were basically revival, sort of the Karate Kid franchise mythos. In the Hollywood Reporter. Now, knowing what we know about, the two big trades are Variety and Hollywood Reporter, and these are industry trade mags. I mean, this didn't get out there just on its own. Okay, there's got to be some some studio backing of this. It's not just him. I want to do a piece of no. This is consider this a memo to the rest of Hollywood. This is how if you're booting an IP, this is how we do it. Because Cobra Kai has just been renewed for another season, and no one's saying, "Oh God, not another one." No, if anything, it's uniform. Yes, great, we like this show, and the creator in Hayden Schlossberg, one of the guys, he's wrote it back in 2018, and he's got a little list of rules here. If you want to do something similar, bringing back an old IP. Well, things to do. Now we go through it here. Do treat the original franchise with reverence. Just as you should honor thy father and mother, so should you honor the franchise you were bringing back. Remember, your show would not exist without the original movie. This is not just IP. This is something precious to millions of people. Treat it that way. Don't be afraid to make big changes. Respecting the material doesn't mean you can't be original. Fans don't want to see the same thing they've seen before. Karate Kid fans love Cobra Kai because we took the bully, Johnny Lawrence, from the original movie and made him the underdog of our story. Do create new characters to enrich your story and reach younger viewers. It's true that if you want to attract a younger audience, it helps to have a younger cast. New characters can bring fresh energy and perspective to your franchise. But don't forget about the original characters or your older audience. Sure, you want to lure younger viewers, but first you must win over the hardcore fans who made your franchise a success. Do use nostalgia to draw your audience into the story. Classic movies like The Karate Kid have been rewatched on VHS, DVD, cable so many times that people remember certain lines and scenes more vividly than their own childhood memories. Calling back these moments can have a huge emotional impact. Don't rely on nostalgia. Callbacks bring back memories, but they don't tell a story. Even hardcore fans will tune out if they aren't hooked into a compelling plot with great characters. The key is using nostalgia to create something new and exciting. Do ask yourself, why now? You'll be asked this question many times in the green light process, so you might as well have an answer. For Cobra Kai, our answer was that bullying is more relevant today than ever, and we wanted to explore that topic by re-examining Johnny, one of the most iconic bullies in movie history. Don't overthink the why now. There's a reason your franchise is a classic. Most likely it taps into something universal and timeless. So while it helps to give your story some social relevance, you also want it to be relevant 20 years from now. Focus on the classic themes that will stand the test of time. Do have a long-term plan about where you are taking the story. In the event of success, there will be a demand for another season or sequel, and you want to be ready. With Cobra Kai, we purposely waited until the very end of the first season to bring back a fan favorite villainous sensei, John Kreese, because we wanted to give fans something to be excited about for season 2. Don't assume your audience is going to stick around until the end. As important as it is to have a long game, you need to win over the audience very quickly. Otherwise, they will move on to one of the other 70 trillion other options they have. Do respect, encourage, and engage your fandom. The best part about working on a famous franchise is that there's a built-in fan base already. Do what you can to turn that fan base into a community. Get them hyped up, show them you listen, and encourage their creativity and passion. Don't argue with the fans. There's nothing more futile than trying to convince fans who didn't like something that they are wrong. If there's division of the fan base, let the fans argue amongst themselves. That is part of the fun. Now, you can apply this, obviously, to Star Trek, but also to Doctor Who, to Star Wars, to any of these franchises where they think they know better than the people who have helped keep this thing alive enough to make it viable to bring back. That's also why I think people are reacting so violently to Kevin Smith's treatment of He-Man. He is a geek. He should know better. He should have known this. If you start messing with too much, this is what's going to happen. So that's why it really kind of hurts what he's doing here.
Marvel too.
And Marvel, for the most part, yeah, Marvel got a little more limited because again, there's a lot of stuff that will not translate from the comic book to the movie screen. But that excuse only goes so far, especially in an age we've had Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, very faithful recreations of these characters. That previous, we can't do that today. Bull.
Guardians of the
we
Galaxy?
did do it. Guardians of the Galaxy was a case of, like, you're doing that. I was like, Guardians of the Galaxy isn't even a D-list book. That's like way down the list. So I was like, you're surprised they were doing that. But anyway. Basically, one, if you're not a fan of the material, why the hell are you doing it? Okay? That's the big thing. If you're not a fan, if you don't have a big respect for the fan, if you think, don't do it, okay? You're going to screw up, even if you think you're doing fine, okay? And if you're still determined to do it, then bring on someone who is a true believer and give them a lot of credence here. But also, don't blow off the opinions of again. There's a reason why there's a hardcore fan base of these properties. And don't assume they're going to stick around if you start screwing things up. Star Wars, is starting to pull back from the brink on that. Star Trek hasn't figured that out yet. And Doctor Who has just totally screwed it. Editorially, there are ways to fix all of it. After all, it is fiction. You can pull a rabbit out of a hat, a habit of a rabbit, and fix this thing. Doctor Who, it'd have to be radical because Chibnall has royally screwed the pooch. I think it seems like he's deliberately trying to sabotage the whole thing. Because it is so totally off the wall what he did with the Timeless Children, like Capra and the whole thing. You've got to be out of your freaking mind. With one fell swoop, he totally destroyed the entire lore of the show. So the only way I see out of that one is to totally invalidate the Jodie Whittaker eras. And just, you want to keep them in the fight. Reel it all back. It's all been this is from Cameron Pasha's idea. It's all a regeneration hallucination. Capaldi's still regenerating. And the more I think about it, the more I like that option because you'll be able to reel it on back. You'll be able to bring back Capaldi to redo the no, not happening, and just stop it from And if you still want to regenerate at that point, because the one thing you have to bring in a showrunner that he would trust and do it, and then it would be like, okay, Peter, now that we've avoided that cliff or made that cliff disappear, do you want to do your 3 or 4 more seasons that you wanted to originally? Because another thing during that live stream when Uncharted Zone dug up the article where bring one up on those last season, Capaldi had no plans of leaving. He knew one day it was going to happen, but he had no plans of leaving anytime soon. In fact, he had expressed elsewhere that he planned on sticking around at least 5 seasons, and possibly taking a run at Tom Baker's record of how long to do it. So, and looking at the timeline of the production and stuff, crap went downhill very quickly on that show. And that's why you don't see Capaldi doing any big finish audios or anything like that. Because he was apparently still got a very bad taste in his mouth of what his childhood favorite franchise did to him. Because he's one of the original fans. He was writing letters to Radio Times when he was a kid. And they found him when they dug him up when he got cast. Remember this? 5 years old, little Peter Capaldi up in Glasgow sending a letter to Radio Times. Or later, about 10 years old, 10, 15 years old, when he was writing to about the pertinent stuff. It's like, yeah, the original Anorak. So, but yeah, any of these things can be fixed as far as just the continuity in the story goes. But collateral damage has been done. Doctor Who will never be the monster success that it was before. Because they have pissed off too many people that are never coming back. They've certainly driven away the normies. The hardcores might be forgiving if you bring in someone who knows what they're doing and you get rid of this crap we've been putting up for the few years. Star Trek is probably the easiest because you can just, again, just they've already got alternate timelines. Like JJ declare the Kurtzman stuff alternate timeline. And the ultimate thing would to show that, the less Kurtzman has to do with the show, the better it is. Also make it very clear that Lower Decks is the only one of this bunch that is proper mainline Star Trek. It's Star Trek's answer to McHale's Navy, but it's the only one that hasn't totally screwed the pooch continuity-wise. And I mentioned this to Bijo when we reversed to the Concordance, and it's like, I don't know how much new ground they'd be playing on there, but they could potentially work some references there. It's mostly just because there's references over and over again. I don't think nothing much amongst the stories themselves would necessarily get included into the Concordance. But its fact is, it doesn't blow it. It refers to it and properly reverentially to original stories. That it is compatible, so I could potentially see it like a supplement, including Lower Decks. In fact, that's an idea I might play around with a little bit. Just like, you got your main concordance, and then just have all the various series, related how they relate to it as supplements. But that's another story for another time. So, but I guarantee you, with it being in that article, being in the Hollywood Reporter, one of the two main trades in Hollywood, this is like corporate memo, intercompany memos to everybody. It's like, folks, listen up. This is serious. This isn't some fan mag spouting this off. This isn't someone like April or Doomcock spouting off on them. No, this is the Hollywood Reporter. This is the official origin orders, basically. Expect some changes in various things. And it's not just just the way Hollywood's operating. I think this is where we go from now on. Okay, nobody's going to care about your agenda if you do a lousy story and you piss off the fan base you got built in the thing. Because I think one of the things is they've learned rather hard lesson is none of these fan bases just take for granted. You've got them. It's a gift. It's why Star Trek has always been sort of a crown jewel franchise, because it had the very passionate and very intelligent fan base. We're not just like, they love it. No, people knew how the show was put together, who the producers were, who the composers were, who the costume designer were. Very, very savvy on the production regimen it takes. It's not just saying we like the story. No, it's always been like that from the very beginning. I mean, because the book Making a Star Trek kind of gave everyone an inside look of what it's like to make this show and these shows. And it's like James Comack, director of Piece of the Action, that he's got a list of his resume is like a mile long. But he mentions it as Star Trek. Oh yeah, Jim Comack, Piece of the Action. The fans know the director, they know the story. So don't try to put one over on the fans. So anybody think, there's with some Trekkies. No. You obviously don't know Trekkies very well, do you? So, just the fact that this article exists at all is probably a very good sign that things are finally starting to change, and they're starting to. You want to do you want to send a message, call Western Union. Otherwise, Anyway, on a personal note, we are still up against. Those who have given, great, but some people think, do $5, $10, $20. That's not the end of it, folks. That's why I put a $5,000 limit on. And don't think that you still think, look, they've given that much. That's not how much is in there. What money comes in goes straight back out. So right now, there is nothing in that fund right now. It has been spent, and we need more because we're trying to keep it's an ongoing revolving door thing here. To keep the roof over our heads until we can finally get a stable enough foundation we can at least partially pay our own way. Because right now we're at the case where it's like we had to try and do this up and overdrawn usually. My paycheck today just got it out of the red, and enough to pay off our late storage, the storage unit, which was very horribly late. Unfortunately, the new hotel charge came through, and it's probably going to push it right back in the red. So we need some help here, guys. I'm serious. This is, and again, right now, as I'm taping this, Doomcock is over there doing show tunes, other things, and I'm seeing people drop $150, super chats on there. So I know the money's out there. Okay, don't tell me everybody's tired. I've seen too many times super chats being put out. Again, for somebody singing show tunes a cappella, opposite a stuffed Cthulhu thing with the fez. Okay. Again, nothing against Doomcock. I love when all in the world he's been a great booster for this channel. But don't tell me the money's not out there and tell me, well, we can't. Bull. Okay. If you personally don't have it, I can respect that. But the link is going in the description for our site. Also, and as always, my personal PayPal in there. If you don't feel like having your name on a list of contributors, because that's one thing that's brought to my attention is that you contribute on there. You got to have your PayPal account has to be set up a certain way to donate anonymously. Otherwise, your name's going to be on there. Yeah, it's just so and so gave this much. If you don't want that, my personal PayPal. That way, the only one that sees any number is me. And trust me, if I was in the business of selling information, I wouldn't be in this situation right now. Okay?
Or maybe me.
Yeah, we would at the very least we'd be staying in a much nicer place than this rat hole. Okay? It's nothing against the thing, but it's an old hotel. It's seen better days. Okay? There's a reason why it's only $75 a night.
And why some reviewers refer to it as
some reviews have declared a glorified homeless shelter, which it kind of is. There's a lot of folks that have been there a very long time because there's no other place to go right now. So, again, I hate to bring it down on this channel, but we are up against it again now. We gotten half promises of some help later on, but it's like later on ain't good enough. We need now. So, PayPal, Patreon, the fundraiser stuff down below in the description, and we will talk at you later.